Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sammy Snake Racing YouTube channel. My name's Sam, aka Sammy Snake, aka the fastest snake in the world. And today we've got a bit of a banger lined up for you. So what you'll normally see on this channel is helpful videos on how to be faster at the game, whether it's to do with racecraft, lap guides, or generally driver tips. Now occasionally I do get the comment, because sometimes when I've done videos such as the Racecraft video, starting from the back of the grid, that, you know, these aren't the most competitive lobbies. Is this an A+ rated lobby? Well, what we're doing today in this video is we're going to the top split. We're going to the most competitive environment that you can do for daily races, which is in Europe, in Daily Race C. And this week's Daily Race C is an excellent race, I think. It's at Fuji International Speedway. It's 15 laps in GR3 cars with ×5 tyre wear and I believe ×2 fuel consumption. So strategy, tyre management, it's all in there. And because this is a great combination, it's brought the big boys out. It's a very competitive week. So what the Snake has had a go at is heading over to Daily Race C, seeing whether I can compete and maybe try and get a win. Now this is going to be incredibly difficult, as a lot of the drivers that you're up against in these top split are either young lads. I'm 37, my reaction times aren't what they used to be. So we've got these young up and coming lads that maybe don't work full time, that are on it hours upon hours, and fair game, you know, they're probably trying to make it to Gran Turismo World Series events. Or you get full-time content creators who are playing the game just a lot more than me, so they get to practice more. So this is an incredibly difficult challenge, but we've got some good results, we've got some not so good results, and in the end I was fairly happy with the outcome of what we achieved. So without further ado, let's jump in and see how this challenge unfolded. Okay, well, race one started pretty well. We were in first position, qualified in first. We had Key behind us, as well as a plethora of other very fast drivers behind. And what happened in this race, which I'll summarise, is we were going pretty well. We managed to build a gap up from Key behind us up to 2 seconds. So when it came to pitting, potentially pitting on lap 9, we decided to stay out as we had the gap. I don't think Key actually decides to stay out as well. So I might as well, I don't want to have the tyre disadvantage towards the end of the race. As you can hear, I was thinking about having better tyres towards the end. And then what happened as we're coming out of turn 1, my wheel just cut out and decided to keep turning right into the wall here. So that kind of put an end to our attempt of winning that race, unfortunately. So yeah, not great, but started off well, showed some potential, but ultimately a technical failure. I actually thought I'd disconnected from the lobby, so I ended up quitting the race in this one. So not the best of starts, eh? So moving on to our next attempt, we've got Ghost Baby, aka Algebron, in front. We've got Digit in P4 again, as well as some very quick drivers mixed in between. And this went better than our first race, but still not what we were looking for. We managed to do a really good job of staying behind P1, preserving our tyres up until lap 8, where I decided to go for a move, as I thought I had a little better pace. Managed to pull this move off pretty cleanly without losing that much time. And then, because I thought I had decent tyres, when it came to pitting at lap 9, potentially pitting at lap 9, I decided to stay out, hoping that I would have better better tyres towards the end of the race. I knew that the undercut would happen with Algebron, but I hoped on catching him back up and perhaps making an overtake when his tyres started to really wear. We had Digit behind us. As we pitted, he was really good with tyre management also. So I thought perhaps we could work together with Digit, a bit of bump drafting, catch up with Algebron together. And just as we come out of the pits, we weren't that far behind. I think we were about 1.6, 1.7 seconds as we come out of turn one. I think he did start to break away at first, but then we started to catch up again come lap 14. But Digit, you know, he's running his own race. Come lap 14, he decides to go for a move, pulls that off again pretty cleanly, pretty successfully. And we do start to close in on Algebron, but unfortunately, coming into turn one, I miss my braking marker. I hit Digit, I back off the accelerator to make sure to not overtake him, and then unfortunately there's a racing incident behind. A Menti comes storming up through the field. We've got 3 cars trying to go into one corner. I get pushed out wide. You'll see how it all unfolds here. I'm backing off the throttle to let Digit go. Then a Menti just tried to make the overtake. That pushes P4 into me. I start sliding, I hit a Menti, and yeah, that is what happened there, unfortunately. We do manage to preserve a P4, so better than the race before, but still not the result we were after. And then we went again. This time we managed to pull off a P3 with no crashes, but not the win we are searching for. So that now brings us to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Manu Rodri, who set a stonker of a qualifying time. I think it's a 1:37.4. We've done a 1:37.5, a high 5. And we've got Manu in the Jaguar in front. Now, I believe Manu was streaming at the time of this race, and I think he was testing out the new Bob. So he'd gone with the Jaguar, which had really good straight line speed, but wasn't as good in the corners. And I believe it probably had a little worse tyre wear around this particular circuit. So my plan for the race was to do what I was aiming to do when Algebron was in P1. Keep behind Manu, don't fight him, use the slipstream, bump draft him when I can, and then wait to pounce later when my tyres would be better. So subsequently I would hopefully have more pace, and then potentially take the victory. But as you can see, there's cars behind. We've got Flying Mid behind, who was very quick, but later in the race I think he started getting a little aggressive. I think he wanted to take P2, so I was wary of what he was doing. You can see here, coming down the start-finish straight, I could have gone for a move here, but I could see we were starting to build up a gap from Flying Mib, so I decided to go for the bump draft, work together with Manu. And working together with Manu actually pays dividends later in the race, which you will find out. We can see the cars behind, they're starting to fight, jostling for position. I'm thinking, right, this is brilliant, let's try and build a gap. We fast forward a bit later on into the final sector, and this is where I start to realise that Flying Mib is really keen on getting in front of me. I mean, I get held up a little bit there from Manu going deep through the chicane. Flying Mib sends it down the inside. I'm thinking, oh no, why are you doing that? We need to try and stay with Manu. Maybe he doesn't trust that I've got the pace. He's entitled to do this, but yeah, I was thinking that wasn't the wisest decision. Although we managed to hold on to the position, we get a decent drive out of the final corner. Actually, Flying Mib, I don't think it was intentional, gave us a bit of a bump down the straight. So we start pulling away from him behind. We've got the slip of Manu in front of us. So all I'm thinking at this particular moment is try and close the gap up to Manu, try and help him along until perhaps later in the medium stint, the first 10 laps, and try and break away. But again, coming into turn one, we've got some fairly aggressive drivers behind, absolutely sent it onto the apex of the first corner. He did make the apex, so he was entitled to make that move, but I didn't want to let any cars get in between me and Manu, so I defended that fiercely. I managed to keep the inside line, and as you can see in the rear view mirror, these guys behind us are really fighting hard. I don't think that was the best Racecraft on their part. This is exactly what I was talking about in how Racecraft equals DR on a recent upload on the channel. How fighting like that is detrimental to your race. So I was doing my best to move away from these guys. You can still see they're going for overtakes. They're losing time. I am starting to close up on Manu here, and the gap behind is starting to build. All the time doing this, I am thinking, don't push too hard. Don't try and be too aggressive. Preserve the tyres, and hopefully the pace will come to us, the race will come to us later on when our tyres are in a better condition. And as we fast forward it, one lap ahead, we can see that starts to happen. Manu is maintaining decent pace. We're starting to close in. We are pulling away from the cars behind as there is another move attempted into turn one. And now
fighting behind.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. They are fighting behind. Now the gap is up to almost 1.8 seconds. We are less than half a second from Manu. We're sitting pretty. We're maintaining our tyres. I'm holding that gap at 2 seconds. So I decide to give Manu a little bump draft, not to fight, not to lose time. Try and work the distance away from the cars behind, because if they start to fall into that strong part of the slipstream, it is very difficult to break free. So everything is going pretty well right now. But at this point in the race, I am watching the delta. I am waiting. I am thinking, right, as long as we're still pulling away, everything is good. But we're starting to get into the second half of the stint of this medium tyre part of the race. And I can start to see that actually Manu is perhaps struggling to maintain that pace. The tyre wear could be starting to show, and the gap now falls to below 2 seconds. So I am keeping an eye on this, all the time assessing whether it is a time for me to go for a move, because I believe I have got a little bit more pace in this Ferrari. So coming down this home straight, I get a good exit off that corner. I'm sitting in the strong part of the slipstream. So I think now's the time. We're coming on to lap 6. Let's go for a move. So take it to the inside and then try and hit my braking marker and get a good exit. Try and get a good exit. That was my thought here. But as I get a little bit too early and aggressive into second gear, I nearly lose the back end. So unfortunately, that move has cost us a bit of time. And now they are getting closer. So that was just a mistake. I don't think it was a stupid decision. It was just not the right, what shall we say? It wasn't executed properly. So now we've got Manu, who's starting to struggle for pace, which I believe is due to tyre wear, right in front of us. The gap is now just over 1 second to the cars behind. We're on lap 7, and I have the same thought process again. I think, right, my tyres are definitely in better shape to Manu. Let's try and get a good exit off this final corner, which we do. We take advantage of the traction of this rear wheel drive MR car, and we're in a really good position again to make a move. I just don't want to make the same mistake as I did before. I really need to capitalize on this, otherwise the cars behind are going to start catching up, and it's not going to be a 2-horse race. It's going to be a 3, 4, maybe 5-horse race. This time I'm more cautious with the throttle application, and we managed to pull off that move very successfully. So at that point of the race, I'm thinking I've got better tyres. Now's the time to capitalise. I need to try and build a gap to Manu behind us, particularly in this final sector. This is where the Ferrari will shine. This is where the better tyre wear, around these right-handers in particular, and the corners where you need to be able to put the traction down nice and early, is where I need to try and pull away. And I do start to do that. We're up at nearly half a second's gap. So off this final corner, I think about going wide and getting on the power early as I can, nice and aggressively, to try and pull away. But this is when I start to realise how fast that Jaguar actually is. We got a much better exit off that final corner. The delta goes up to probably 5.5 tenths. But what you'll see is how fast it is coming down towards the end of the straight. That quickly, in fact, that Manu actually misses his braking marker. He is carrying so much speed that he goes deep into that corner. Thankfully, he takes the appropriate avoiding action. We make sure to stay out to the side, and that avoids any, crashes. Thanks to us both having a bit of awareness and experience. And now at that point, because he's made that mistake, I've managed to eke out a gap of over a second over the course of this lap. Now coming into this final sector again, I'm thinking, right, let's try and build this gap up even more. Because if I can do an extra lap, if I can do 10 laps and still maintain the lead, I am going to be in the perfect position to take the win in this race. And we do manage to do that. We actually put in a decent final sector on these worn tyres. I see the delta going up. It's almost at 1.4 seconds. It jumps up to 1.3. And this is where I think, right, let's do that extra lap. Let's try and put a good in-lap in, maintain the lead if we can, although that will be difficult. And yes, potentially they can hit traffic. I was also thinking that. Now, what actually ends up happening is I don't have the best in-lap. I make a couple of mistakes. And
wow, that was a really bad in-lap.
yeah, see, I even say it while I'm racing. It wasn't the best in-laps, but I was still in a pretty good position. If I could hold P2, everything was still in a good position. And that is what I managed to do. We only just managed to maintain P2. There was a bit of a battle. It was an ambitious move from P2. P3, sorry, as I again comment on. And now we're still in a fairly strong position. We haven't got the lead anymore, but Manu's in the car in front with more worn tyres than ours. I feel like I had more pace than him in this Ferrari, so all I had to do was stay close, wait for my moment to strike, and try and take the win home. And I didn't have to wait that long, as like I've said before, the Ferrari really shines in this final sector. We have the benefit of better tyres, a car that rotates really nicely, and almost unlimited rear end grip when putting the power down in this Ferrari. That's why the Ferrari has been a very strong vehicle in this race for Daily Race C. It's because it's got all the attributes for this very tricky technical final sector of the track. And because of its strengths and the better tyre wear, we managed to close the gap right up to Manu, and we sit in that strong part of the slipstream.
Come on.
As we get another subscriber there. Thank you, Amaya King. I can't do anything about that popping up. This is recorded. So now we're alongside, we've got better tyres, we're on the outside. He has got the defensive line, but I really need to make this move. And we brake late, we try and get it rotated in, but we can't get on the accelerator as early as I would like. And Manu actually gets a better exit. He's got the inside line to that right-hander. He gets up alongside us here, and I just manage to stay in front. Now, I did squeeze Manu a little bit there, but he didn't pick up a penalty. So I think that was a fair move. You'll have to let me know on whether you think that was fair or not. But either way, we're now in the lead of this race. We've got better tyres, but it is by no means over. There is still custom slipstream.
I think that was clean.
And there is still a very long straight with that Jaguar behind us that could take advantage of the straight line speed. So you can see there's 3, 4, maybe 5 cars all behind us. The pressure is on. I know if I make one mistake, this win is over. It's game over. All of these drivers in this lobby are extremely talented, and it only takes one mistake to throw a win away. And as we just head down the start finish line, and you are still watching this video and you are finding it entertaining, please do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe button and the like. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers, so any help is very much appreciated. The more subscribers I get, the better the content I can provide. Now with that said, let's get back to the racing action. And as I fast forward it to the home straight, where I'm trying to get a good exit off this final corner, Manu does an excellent job of getting a little bit closer to us and in the strong part of the slipstream. Now he was about 3/10
being able to make a move here.
behind us. I did get a better exit, but because he's in the strong part of the slipstream, he is absolutely sailing up behind us. But thankfully, Manu elects to give us a bump draft. Now, I'm not sure whether he did that because he wanted to stay in front of Calston and not lose time, or whether he was just repaying the favour of us working together earlier in the race. But either way, I am exceedingly grateful for Manu's generosity. Now for this final lap and a half of the race, I'm going to be quiet and let the racing speak for itself, and you can see how this all unfolds and whether we manage to pull it off or not.
Need to push. Oof. Went a bit wide there. Come on, hold on to this lead. Gilster sent it. Flipping heck, I thought he was going to go into me then. That really put me off. Come on. Oh, we did it. Calster from the back though, putting pressure on us.
And there we have it, first place achieved. We managed to do it in the end after a bit of a slog and some disappointing results and mechanical failures. We managed to pull off the win. I am very happy with what we did there. If I could ask you a favor before you go, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, so all of the subscriptions, all of the likes on the video help to push this channel and help us to grow as a community. And the bigger the community gets, the more subscribers I get, the better content I can provide. We do live streams every Monday where we compete in the top split daily races, as well as community races which are live streamed every Sunday where the Snake Pit all come together, do some fun and some semi-serious racing. All levels are welcome. As well as that, we also try and do weekly videos where we give tips, pointers, or just entertainment for Gran Turismo enthusiasts. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But for today, it's over and out from the Racing Snake, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and thanks for watching.